Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Question: where has Kawasaki gone? Have they left the cruiser market? That is the question that we're going to talk about today, right after the intro. Hey, welcome to my channel, SouthernBoyzRyde, where we talk everything motorcycles, motorcycle life, motorcycle culture. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Now let's ride. Good. All right, guys. Hey, I've talked about this briefly before, and I've did a couple of videos on it. Everybody that follows my channel know that I ride a Kawasaki Vulcan Nomad. That's my brand of motorcycle that I've chosen to ride. Yeah, it's not that I can't afford a Harley-Davidson, not that I don't want a Harley-Davidson, but I just choose to be a little bit different in my bike. And I do actually like the Kawasaki brand. I like the metric bikes. Not that it's saying I won't end up with a Harley-Davidson one day, but my main thing right now is the Kawasaki brand. Have they actually left the cruiser market behind and focused on sports bikes only? Apparently they have, because in my area, our local dealers don't have any Vaqueros or Voyagers. They don't have new ones, they don't have old ones, they don't have used ones, they don't have anything in that size of a bagger for Kawasaki. Now they have plenty of the sports bikes, plenty of those, the Ninjas and whatever you want, even Suzuki, Yamaha. All those brands are plumb full of sports bikes. So have they actually left the cruiser market and just let Harley-Davidson have it wide open by themselves? Or, well, Indian also, because those are the two major brands in the US that right now are the dominant in the bagger market. And Harley-Davidson seems to be leading the way, even though I've seen rumors of their financial problems. But now let me get off the Kawasaki and go and jump on this real quick. I don't see why Harley-Davidson is having any kind of financial problems. They shouldn't have, because a lot of black people ride Harley-Davidsons. And my race, I'm gonna tell you, when we jump on your brand, we jump on it for the fullness. We jump on your bike, we buy your gear, we buy all your merch, we have everything. And if you've seen all the nice Daytona videos, especially the ones down in Bethune-Cookman, where, you know, a lot of black people like to hang out at, and you see them riding Harley-Davidsons, they got all the Harley gear on. They got Harley shirts, Harley hats, Harley boots, Harley shoes, Harley sneakers, everything Harley-Davidson. They are purchasing Harley-Davidson. So black people, give yourself a big hand when it comes to supporting Harley-Davidson, because you do. In Harley-Davidson, you should be doing commercials for black folks, because I don't know why you're going broke, because black people ain't the ones calling you woke. We still are buying your stuff. I'm not buying it, but I'm saying my people are buying your stuff. Now, with that said, back to Kawasaki. In my area of the woods here, we got like 3 dealerships that I can go to that are close by. And like I said, none of them have the Kawasaki brand motorcycles on the floor, or the Suzuki cruisers, or the Yamaha. Now Honda is excellent. Honda is doing something with their bikes. The Gold Wing, like I said, the Gold Wing is doing great, because they have updated their Gold Wing. And that's another thing that I'm going to get into here also, is why do you buy the brand of bike you got? And it's always going to go back to the Harley-Davidson. The Harley-Davidsons, you can't talk about a motorcycle without talking about a Harley-Davidson. I think the Harley-Davidson brand is purchased more here because of customization, because you can buy a stock bike and you can do whatever you want to with it and make that bike custom to what you want. Now, as far as a Kawasaki, whatever you see come off the showroom floor, if you can get something off the showroom floor, there's some customizations you can do, but it's not easy. You just can't go buy parts and bolt them up and, you know, put fancy wheels on it and this and that and the other, because they're just not available. You know, you can't put a 21-inch rim on there without going through a lot of rigmarole, changing the back wheel out and all that good stuff. And then the Kawasaki, I guess what's killing Kawasaki right now, and they're not, you know, working on it, is they're doing cosmetics, a few cosmetics to their new bikes, and they're changing the color scheme a little bit, but they're not doing anything else. I've heard a lot of people complain about the infotainment center. Well, a lot of people don't really care about that, maybe, but a lot of people do also. You know, Harley-Davidson come out with that beautiful infotainment center with all the gadgets and bells and whistles and all that stuff. And if you don't really like the Harley-Davidson and you like another brand and you want something updated, then you look at the Kawasaki Vaquero or the Voyager and you look at the infotainment center and you say, damn, that looks old. You know, so Kawasaki, listen to me. Listen at all the people that ride bikes. There's a lot of people that still ride the Kawasaki brand. Trust me on this. It might not be in my neck of the woods, but I know there is, because there's a Facebook page dedicated to walking Kawasaki riders. Lots of people on there. And there's people on there that does customizations, but there's a lot of work that has to be done. I just reached out to a guy the other day about some customizations that he did on his bike that I like to do on mine, but he never got back with me. But like he said, it took a little bit of work to get it done like that. And I want to know exactly what he done, so maybe I can do the same thing to mine, because I like it. And that's the thing about it also. You can take older model Harley-Davidsons and still have a lot of fresh parts for those things and fix them up and make them real good. One of my content creators that I follow, Sensei in Georgia, Ride Fit Nation, he has a bike, I think it's an 05 Softail. He calls it a Nubus. Man, that thing is nice. He did a really good job on it. And he didn't have to, you know, jump through hoops to customize it. He just bought the parts and had it painted like he wanted it. And that bike is really, really nice. And that's what a lot of us would like to do with our metric cruisers, if we could. We like to customize our bikes also. And we also would like a little bit of updating to our bikes. You know, Apple CarPlay, navigation systems, all that good stuff. Kawasaki, if you're listening, you're looking at videos, your marketing department needs to really get on the social media outlets and see exactly what people are looking for in your brand. Because if you do that, you'll find out that you guys are falling way behind on the cruiser market. And the cruiser market, from what I'm hearing with Harley-Davidson, they're having some problems. And there is a sliver of hope right in there that if you get off your duff, you can slide your bikes right on in there and grab that market. Because the metric motorcycles have always been what? Reliable motorcycles, cheaper motorcycles. You know, you get into a brand new Kawasaki, Suzuki, or Yamaha cruiser for at least $10,000 cheaper than you can a Harley-Davidson. And that's $10,000 that you can use on customizations if you wanted to. Whereas you know, on the Harley-Davidson, that's another $10,000 on $30,000 that you're already spending. This is to be continued, guys, because I got to run in here and get a little bit of work done. Be right out, and we'll get right back to it. All right, guys. Let's finish up our conversation about Kawasaki. And what I was saying before I left is, yeah, Kawasaki needs to get on social media, check out what people are saying about their bikes, see what people are asking for, and supply it. Because what's happening now, let me pull my shield down here, get you guys out of this wind. I've seen some of the new Vaqueros and Voyagers online. I hadn't seen any in person yet, and that's a downer. But I've seen some reviews, and I'll be honest with you guys. The only thing that I've seen well, nothing has impressed me, but I've seen some color changes. And I'll be honest with you, it's all right, but it's not impressive. Now, some of the technology that they put on there is really nice technology. Of course, a lot of bikes have been having ABS brakes, but Kawasaki has come up with, I can't think of the braking system. I don't know I think they came up with it on their bikes first. Ain't nothing coming? They came up with it on their bike first, where it's a, God, I can't even think of how to even describe it. Well, if you use your front brakes, your back brakes automatically work too. Or if you use your back brakes, the front brakes work. I don't know exactly what they called it, but I think that's pretty daggum neat that, you know, they did that. But other than that, they've changed the color schemes on the bike, but like I said, not that impressive. So Kawasaki, change your color scheme altogether, and also offer more color schemes. I know there's a guy, Barrels Point, and you guys need to check him out. He does a lot of motorcycle reviews about Kawasaki and different ones. Harley-Davidson, whatever. He gets very detailed, way more than I do. God, guys, I got a dry throat here. Sorry about that. But anyway, he does more in-depth review than I do, so it's Barrels Point. Check him out. But anyway, he was doing a review, and a few other guys were doing reviews, and they were showing the Kawasaki Voyagers. Nice bike. And their different paint schemes, which was nice, but nothing to write home about. But the one thing that they said, they didn't offer enough different colors. They might have 3 different color schemes on their bikes, and that's it. You got 3 different colors to choose from. Come on now, Kawasaki, what kind of crap is that? If you're gonna put out some bikes, especially if you're not gonna do a whole lot to it, at least put 10 different colors out there, some color schemes that are exciting, you know, right off the showroom floor. And I give Harley-Davidson credit. They come up with some color schemes because I think Harley-Davidson listens, or they're on the social media sites, they're on YouTube, they're listening to people that actually ride their bikes, and they're looking at what a lot of people are doing to their bikes. And let me get back to my race of people, my black folks. You down in Daytona, you see some color schemes of customized Harleys out of this world. And I know good and well Harley-Davidson has picked up on some of those color schemes and have used them here in 2025, 24 on some of their bikes. And I'm not saying you white guys ain't got your custom bikes looking really, really good, but you know how some of us brothers are. Us brothers get into it. But yeah, Kawasaki, you need to do that. Come out with some more color schemes, something that's exciting. Change the infotainment center on the front. Give it a little bit more pep. Even if you got to go up another couple of $1,000s or so, you're still going to be way under price of maybe the Harley-Davidson and the Indian motorcycle. You know, you're not going to, those bikes are built here, mainly I guess in the US. And I'm going to tell you guys, the reason why maybe the Harley-Davidson and the Indians are priced so high is because US workers. US workers are not going to work for nothing. We demand a higher pay. So that means for them to get a higher pay, they're going to have to pass that on to you. Whereas Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, they're all built in Japan. So if they're all built in Japan, I got to stop and get some gas here, guys. Forgot all about that. Well, you know, I'll stop another place and get some. Anyway, just look down and see them about empty. Maybe I'll make it to the next station. I want you guys to get to see me do a walking video. But anyway, lost my train of thought. But yeah, those bikes are all made in Japan. And so I got a feeling that the wages are lower there than they are here. So they can produce a cheaper bike. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't want that cheap Chinese junk, that old cheap metric stuff. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, a lot of your Indian motorcycles and Harley-Davidson, a lot of those parts come from Japan. They have been for a while now. You might not know about it or don't want to know about it, but those parts come from Japan, and that bike is assembled here. And some of them are made over in Mexico. You know, they're trying to cut their costs so they can continue to sell motorcycles to you. But I'm gonna tell you, the Japanese people are really smart people on building motorcycles. They build a very reliable motorcycle. And I think I was mentioning Honda. So, Honda, that Gold Wing, that's an excellent bike. And they made that Gold Wing sportier. I was looking at a review the other day. They made, they're not your granddaddy's old Gold Wings anymore. Even though you can still get that type of motorcycle from a Honda Gold Wing, they offer so many different models. They offer the automatic. Man, that thing is nice. I've never ridden one, the automatic, but I've ridden the old Gold Wing, and it's like a Cadillac when you're riding that thing. But they offer sporty models. And man, you can't beat that sporty model. If you want something that's not your granddaddy's bike, hey, that Honda Gold Wing is nice. But I'm here to still talk about my Kawasaki brand. And I want people, well, I want the Kawasaki people to pay attention. I'm trying to get your attention, Kawasaki. Aftermarket parts for the Kawasaki. I've mentioned this before. I wish there was a company out there that could build aftermarket parts that would fit the Kawasaki, the Suzuki, the Yamaha, that can kind of cross-platform where maybe if you got to do just a little bit of work to make that part fit, it will fit. Because I've looked, you know, the Kawasaki and all that, they built up pretty much the same. A motorcycle is still basically a motorcycle. You know, you're not going to get too wild out of it. Maybe a few cosmetics here and there that is different. But man, wouldn't it be so nice to be able to go to a company and buy different parts? I know you can, but there's only so many that you can get. So all you out there that riding Kawasaki, jump in the comments. Let's make this video go viral, and maybe Kawasaki will pay attention to it. Even if you go to somebody else's video, Burroughs Point, check his video out. You know, let's get Kawasaki's attention. We still like riding Kawasaki baggers. And maybe if I can find some, I'll post some pictures up of the Yamaha. I think they got a Star Venture or something like that. Man, that bike looks great right off the showroom floor. Man, I love that bike. You know, there's not a whole lot that you really need to do to it to make it your own, because it's already nice looking. Really, really nice looking. But I think, let me switch a gear here. I think that is the allure to the Harley-Davidson brand. I don't think a lot of people love the Harley-Davidson because, oh, it's the Harley-Davidson. They love the Harley-Davidson because of the aftermarket parts that you can put on that thing. You know, you can buy a base model Harley-Davidson, you know, for what, $24,000, maybe $30,000. But then there's not a person that owns a Harley-Davidson that don't want to upgrade that thing. So you're putting cams in it and all that good stuff. And just imagine if you could do that with Kawasaki and Yamaha and Suzuki, that you could update that thing. You'll see a lot more of those on the road, and you'll see a lot of those on showroom floors. That's what it's all about. Because a lot of people love their motorcycles, and then they love to make them their own. And I'm almost to say that most people that are into motorcycles have a couple of motorcycles themselves in their garage. I have a couple of motorcycles myself in the garage. You know, I got my Kawasaki and I got my Suzuki. I love that Suzuki. That Suzuki is one really nice bike. It's lightweight, great bike, and you can't beat it. Okay, here, guys. Let's see. I forgot my darn number. All right. There we go. Make it to the gas station before we pushing this thing. Put some old 93 in here.
If you're an employer, you have the power to save lives. The screening time off program encourages employees to...
Those things scare me when I come to the gas station. Those little televisions up there, they jump on automatically. Somebody start talking. What the hell is that? All right, fuel this bad boy up. But yeah, you guys can are we good there? Yeah, there we go. We're pretty good there. But that's one thing that if you could customize the Kawasaki's and all that good stuff, I guarantee you'd see a lot more of those on the floor. Appreciate you guys riding with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope the conversation is going this way. Hey, and there's nothing against the guys that ride the Harley-Davidson, because I got quite a few Harley-Davidson guys that follow me here on my channel, and I follow them as well. But like everybody says, it's all about riding two wheels. That's the thing about it. No matter what type of two wheels you ride, got a motor on it, hey, you're good with me. But I'm just trying to get Kawasaki's attention. You know, it's not like, hey, I'm saying Kawasaki send me a brand new bike for me to review and play with. No, I'm asking you to update your bikes. Get into the aftermarket parts or something so we could do some things with it. Change your paint schemes. Listen to the people that ride your bikes. And I know the sports market is full of those bikes. Those bikes are reasonably priced. If you watch one of my videos, and I'll post it up here, go back when I was at the dealership, you can get into those sports bikes for under $10,000. And you know, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Guys, we're gonna make another stop here. I got to stop at the good old Dollar General. And what's traveling in Alabama without going to Dollar General? Hey, check this Harley out. There we go, right there. That's what I'm talking about. Or is that a Harley? Yeah. Nice looking bike. Look like he's taking all the badging off of it, because you don't see any indication of Harley on that bike whatsoever. And I'm going to say that's probably about between maybe 20, 21, 22, 23. Don't know. Still a nice looking bike. But wonder why he took all the badging off. Any of you care to wonder why? Or maybe he's just the type of person that don't like badging on his bike. You never know.